bring the talks of the bar to your ears. This is Bartender Talks.
Wait a minute. Live from the HMG studios, of course, this is Bartender Talks. I am your host, DJ Intake, and this is where we bring the talks of the bar live to your ears. Ricky Vance, live with me. How you feeling, brother?
Yo, it's been a long week, Intake. I'm just trying to get drunk.
And helping us do that is our resident, the main domain, Kim in the building. How we feeling?
I'm feeling amazing today.
Kim whipped us a Kentucky mule, right? That's what we're having today?
Yes, that's what we're having today.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about it, Kim.
Well, we're having our delicious bourbon from
Thoughts.
help me out here. Thoughts.
Oh,
there you
Thoughts
go.
Bourbon.
Thoughts. Yes,
Thoughts
I know I just
Bourbon.
slipped my mind,
Liquor
but yeah.
sponsor.
Our delicious liquor sponsor, Thoughts Bourbon, mixed with some ginger beer, some fresh lime juice,
Nice.
and then our garnish, which looks beautiful today. Mint leaves
Beautiful.
and lime.
Beautiful. And joining us today, of course, is Alex, the toxic dating coach. What's up, my
Wow.
brother?
Hey, not much, man. Feeling a little toxic, that's all.
We thank you so much for joining us today.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get real toxic today.
Yes.
But before that, we got a couple trending topics we want to get
Billy
into.
on the check-in.
We all heard the line, time is money. But I don't know if anybody noticed today, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp all crashed.
What?
All three shut down today for a couple of hours.
The whole world noticed.
Yes,
Intake.
of course.
The whole
Actually, I
world
thought it was
noticed.
my phone, and I was literally like, like logging out of things, getting back in, and I was like, how am I gonna live today? Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
I thought I got blocked.
Right.
Goddamn, toxicity came.
Like in
to get me.
trouble.
I was so mad. I went on my MySpace like, yo. I used to get in touch with some people.
Wow.
Yeah, we all had losses with the social media crash today, but I think Mark Zuckerberg had the biggest loss with losing $7 billion in just a couple of hours.
Damn.
7 billies.
His personal stock dropped 5% earlier today, totaling a 15% drop since September. Mark Zuckerberg is now worth $120.9 billion.
Wow.
That's
Only 120 Billy?
Only-
Step your Billy game up, Mark Zuckerberg. Come on, bro.
He went down the list.
That is crazy. That's
Yeah.
a lot of bread for one person to have. Like, you have whole countries that don't have 120 Billy. Like, wow.
I mean, what? He's doing a lot with that bread, no?
I guess he's taking over the world on some social media shit. Like, what doesn't Facebook own?
Everything.
You know what I'm saying?
everything.
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 Right.
Well, who uses Facebook, though?
Nobody. But
Exactly.
WhatsApp and Instagram.
Yeah.
you
But
know
we
what
all
I'm
still
saying?
have it, though. We don't use it, but we have it.
We have it, exactly.
We all still have it.
Nah, I think like there's a lot of parents out there. You know what I'm saying? The older generation
That like
that is
Facebook?
just getting into the social media now is getting on Facebook.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram. My mom's old, but she got IG.
Yeah, I
like,
think you- even
stalking
the-
my page and
My,
stuff.
Yes.
my grandmother has Facebook. I got a friend request from my grandmother the other day.
You were like blocked.
Hell yeah. I'm like, Abuelita, go back home. Aren't you blind?
Delete.
Can't be blocking your grandmother.
Respectfully,
DJ
grandma, respectfully.
Poor Grammy. Just accept her.
Funny as hell.
Oh, but that's a big loss for a couple of hours, though.
Yeah, bro.
What's the most amount of money you lost in a couple of hours?
Not gambling.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends. Where are
Yeah,
we?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
gambling can happen in minutes.
yeah.
In minutes.
In minutes, like 6 racks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Hate Mohegan Sun, bro. Never again. Never again, bro.
The longest ride home you ever had in your life, huh?
I just hated my lady. She's like, what happened?
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah.
That ride home must have felt double.
Yeah, and it was snowing. It was just a bad winter day, bro. It was a bad winter.
But
day,
isn't
bro.
that like at the point where you reach back in your pocket and you're like, all right, just $100 more because you think you could win it
Yes,
back?
yes. And then it's like 6 a.m. You're still
Yes.
gambling. Like, yo,
You're like,
just,
I know I could do this.
just
I
trying
can
to make
do
my
it.
6 racks back.
Well, do people
Exactly.
there encourage you or something? Like, one more, papi?
Bro, they
You know?
keep giving you liquor.
For Oh yeah.
And the liquor
that should be illegal.
gives you motivation. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make it back.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
That should be illegal.
Yeah, it should
Hell
be.
yeah.
It should be. Yeah.
It should be, but it's such a
definitely not.
strategic.
It's not consent.
Like,
You know?
y'all giving me free liquor while I'm gambling? Okay.
Right.
Big mistake.
And they
bro.
walk around too, and they're like, another one, another one, another one.
And it's free, right?
It's free.
I
yeah.
never been to
Yeah.
a gambling place. That's why. Wow.
As long as you're playing.
As long as you're at a table, they just keep giving you drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some creepy stuff, man. If
Yeah.
it's the same thing that they get mad at. Well, you shouldn't be doing that. But it's kind of like it's the same thing that it's like consent.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same thing. Like you're trapping. That's entrapment. That's entrapment, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
They Bill Cosby'd us
yeah, at the casinos, bro.
at the casino. Raped us and took everything we got.
Vegas.
And they
In
target
Atlantic City.
people
Yeah.
who are legit like addicts.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's insane. It's
Oh, yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
know you an addict if you pulling up to like the casino at like 1 a.m. Like, huh?
They even call you. They'll call you.
Yep. They're like, he got some money to spend. I'm
Oh,
like,
they'll
"Let's
go-
get
no,
him."
no, no. They'll give you free hotel
Yeah,
rooms.
Free hotels.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll tell you to stay for free.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Free meals.
A
That's
limo.
what got me.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Uber
there for
X.
free.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, why not? Let's live.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, shout out to Mark Zuckerberg for taking that L.
He'll be all right.
He will be.
Tell Mark Zuckerberg, let me hold a Billy. I'll flip it, yo. I
Right.
got you.
We'll get
Got
you right back to where you need to be,
yeah.
Poppy.
Yeah, just give me a little time. I got it.
Next topic. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley wants Medicare to cover wigs from now on. She's from Massachusetts. She just pushed the bill today.
Why?
What do we feel about that? She's actually fighting for women who need it for medical causes.
Yes, I agree. I think that's definitely fair.
So
Just wigs though? Why not hair
cancer.
transplant? You know?
I mean, I think if you're sick, I don't know if you could actually get that.
No?
I don't know. I mean, maybe after.
So this is strictly for like cancer patients
This
or
is
like
this is for
I mean, there's-
women experiencing hair loss due to medical causes.
yeah,
Okay.
there could be other
teach
issues. Like they could have autoimmune disorders.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
could
yeah.
have alopecia.
See,
they
this
could
is my
have, like,
problem, though.
Some of them pluck their hair. Like I forget the name of it, but
women
it's so
pluck
crazy.
their hair.
Yeah, like
real?
from
Anxiety.
stress, anxiety. So they'll start just plucking them by the. You know what's really strange? So they pluck them and then they eat the little bulb that's on that like plucks out. Yeah,
Yo, women are
some
weird.
crazy.
bro.
Yeah,
Is it salty?
I don't know. Like they'll pluck like
She said,
into.
I don't pluck it, but I heard.
I do not pluck it. No, they'll pluck it and then they'll pluck one hair at a time,
Yeah.
and the hair, has a little bulb on
And
the
they eat
ends,
that.
and they eat that. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like a disease. I forget what it is, but I used to work in the hair salon, so there was a couple of girls that came to get their wigs, washed or styled.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
When they would go to the back room to take it off,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like no hair just on the sides, like by their ear, because they'll usually pluck it down low, because they'll do
Yeah.
like they'll sit like that and then just like want to pluck it out for their stress level or
Let me
whatever.
tell you something. As a
It's
man,
crazy.
when you realize your lady has a wig and how she transforms when she takes that wig off.
Really?
Whoa, bro.
I don't care. I bagged a girl with a wig on before.
I don't know though. I mean, J Lo wears wigs all the time, and she's hot as shit. Like I don't
Yes,
know.
but some of them, that's J-Lo though. Some of them
Oh,
completely
come on.
transform when the wig is off. I'm telling you, one time I stumbled upon my lady in the freaking beauty salon. She had the wig off. I ran out. I was like, nah, that's not my girl, bro. Nah, bro.
Well,
I had to recompose. Like, nah, yo, Brick, you could do this. Let's
you
go
had-
back.
Get
Brick.
back in there.
Get back in there. Like, what the hell?
If you hang out at Alpha long enough, you see wigs flying at the ends of the night.
See, here's my problem though. There's always somebody trying to cheat the system, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be somebody
Of
who's gonna
course.
go in there with no problem at all,
Talk
trying to
about, can I
get
get a couple
sponsored.
wigs?
Right, trying to get sponsored, get some wigs on the house.
They got to be
Yeah.
Peruvian.
Right.
The
No, we
hair
want the
texture.
finest Brazilian.
The finest Brazilian, you know what I'm saying? The hair textures, yo.
The finest.
Or some transgender who's trying to say that it's a legit medical condition.
Hey, listen.
Hey, you're gonna
And
have
they
those
need to get-
people.
You're
Yep.
definitely gonna have those people.
They're gonna need to get sponsored.
And like it's kind of like there's always gonna be somebody who plays the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like every system is flawed.
Uh-huh.
So there's always gonna be somebody who does it, and it's kind of like, well, it is what it is. It's part of the course, unfortunately.
Basically.
Yeah.
Shout out my girl Bella on the check-in.
Well, if it can help women in need, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. And I'm not a hater, man. If you could get over in the system, hey, more power.
Exactly,
to you,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
facts.
System don't care about us, so
Fuck it.
get it.
Exactly.
Get it how you get it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's trending topics. We got Alex, the toxic dating coach.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
this mule, this Kentucky
Yeah,
mule.
that
is sick.
Kentucky mule is hitting.
Slaps.
Yeah,
Shout out
it
to-
is.
Shout out to Thoughts Bourbon on that sponsorship,
Yes.
yo.
Flex One, we're gonna have you in the building really soon. Okay.
Welcome back to Bartender Talks. Of course, this is DJ Intake here. Shout out to DJ Andre Nicolas.
Wow.
Providing the tunes and the vibes behind the scene. We got Alex, the toxic dating coach, with us today. We want to talk to him a little bit. Alex, what's up, my brother?
Hey, not much, man. Just chilling.
Thank you for coming here,
Thank you
man.
for having
Yes,
me, man.
thank you so much. I'm
Thank you.
super excited to
It's
have
a
you.
privilege to be here. It's definitely a privilege.
Nah, Kim was talking about you. We had a meeting actually before the season started who we wanted to have as guests on the podcast. And you were brought up, and she kept bringing you up, and she didn't let us forget. So,
Seriously.
yeah.
And then
Wow.
he just found you like on accident. So how crazy is that? The universe, I was like putting it in the universe, like bring us Alex, bring us the
Yo,
toxic dating coach. And
The
then
law
look what
of
happened.
attraction.
It just happened.
I go to the YMCA all the time. And I'm like, wow, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, that
crazy.
was crazy.
Yo, so Brick, tell us exactly how we got Alex on the podcast.
All right, so I go to the YMCA, try to get my little workout on. And when I first entered, I saw you playing ball, and I was like, all right, he plays like Kyle Lowry. I see a little Kyle Lowry, you know, in some of the moves he's doing, whatever. So I go back to, you know, the little weightlifting area. And then I said, all right, let me go back to the gym where they play ball. And I accidentally, like, kind of bumped into him. And I'm like, oh, shit, you're mindful attraction. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I just started studying. I'm like, yo, my homegirl, I got a podcast. She was talking about you. You're my, and he kept saying Alex. I'm like, you're mindful attraction, right? He said, yeah, it's me, Alex. I'm like, no, you're mindful attraction. I don't know if you remember. I just kept saying that. I'm like, I gotta call Kim now. So I tried to call Kim. She didn't answer, but then she hits me back, and we FaceTime. And she lost her mind. She's like, oh my God, we were just talking about you.
Yeah, I had to hang up on him. I was like, I need to see this for myself. I'll call you right back. I'm like, no way.
Yo, she literally said to him exactly what I just said just a minute before. And then he was like, yo, let's do it. Let's do this interview.
It's synchronicity, 100%. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, that is so
Yeah.
crazy.
Definitely. But now he's here,
I'm here.
and let's talk to him. So you have this web show called Mindful Attraction on YouTube, and you are the toxic dating coach. So tell us a little bit how you got into, I guess, that field and talking about that type of subject.
Well, it wasn't a linear type of thing. It was more like it first began as a child. I was into spirituality, and I didn't want to go to hell, so I was like, I'm gonna get into Christianity. And I had a cousin of mine who was really into it, and he had this weird aura about him. It was you could sense the spirituality coming through him, and it was something I couldn't believe it. And so I just wanted to be a Christian. So I just began praying. I used to do it like 3 hours a day, read the Bible for 3 hours a day or so. So I was really into it. And then I began teaching it, and I began preaching. I became an evangelist for like two years or so. And so teaching became my passion. But the problem was that one of the things about not going to hell is that you can't bang women.
Yes.
So women, I wouldn't talk to girls, and women would come up to me. They were like, "Can you teach us the Bible?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll teach you the Bible." But they were trying to seduce me. But it was kind of like, "No, Satan."
Love
It wasn't gonna happen.
He said, no, Satan.
Nah, I know what they were doing. And so, long story short, I went to college, but I didn't know how to talk to girls. I had no experience because all I knew was how to save them from hell, you know?
Right.
So I was like, I need to learn how to catch up because from 8 until 18, before that, I didn't even know who Kobe Bryant was.
Crazy.
That's how insulated I was in that world. I didn't know who Kobe Bryant, I knew Jordan, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know how to talk to girls. So then I was like, you know what? I got to learn. I started reading psychology. And then, long story short, I became a therapist. And then I started learning how to approach women because I got fired as a therapist. Wow. So I had like
Hold on, how you get fired as a
Well,
therapist?
I wasn't good at the paperwork. I was good at the therapist part, but what they really care about is the paperwork.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't good at it.
The data piece.
Yeah, I have ADD. So then when I got fired, I was like, you know what? I got 4 months. I got dumped by my girl that winter. So I was like, let me learn how to approach girls, and I began approaching, and I got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm a fearless person, so I just got good at it, and I began applying principles of psychology, or such as like addiction therapy, because I was into that, like teaching people how to stop addiction.
Right.
And I began applying it to approaching women, and one of the things that I noticed is that women see you depending on how you feel about yourself. So if you feel scared, they're gonna sense the fear. They're gonna sense it, because women can sense fear coming from dudes, and they feel the fear through your creepy vibes.
Yeah.
So I began saying to myself, okay, how can I change the way I feel? In addiction therapy, I learned that if you just change the way you feel, you change the way you react to the stimulus. So I began just applying some meditation techniques, and that's why I call it mindful attraction. That's my channel name, because the mindfulness comes first before you learn to attract. You first learn to control yourself, control your emotions, because dating is more of an emotional experience than anything else.
Yeah.
You're confronted by your pain, you're confronted by your past in a very raw and real way. So if you don't know how to handle that, you could become bitter, you know? So I began applying that, and long story short, I got good at it to the point where guys started asking me how to do it. And then I started teaching online, but I wasn't teaching dating because I was afraid. I still wanted to work as in the corporate field.
Right.
So I began writing on mindfulness, because that's all that I knew. I had a YouTube channel on how to stop smoking weed, even though I smoked weed, but because I just needed a practice to teach. I needed something that I was good at to teach online. And long story short, I experimented with different types of channels. A lot of them didn't work, but then one day I was meditating, and I was like, just teach how to just teach relationship. And I was like, fuck it, let me just start teaching relationships.
Yeah.
I started teaching guys. It wasn't going. It was getting around 2,000 subscribers per year. It was decent, but not enough to help me move out of my parents' house, because I was living in my parents' house.
Right.
And then I just started teaching women, because women started watching my channel. And I was like, why the fuck I'm getting so many women watching my channel?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, why are they coming here? Go somewhere else. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video for them. I'm gonna make a channel for them so they could just leave me alone. I made a video for them, and the first video got 60,000 views. And I was like, see you later, guys. Like, I'm teaching women. I'm done.
That's it.
I found my calling, you know? And then it just went from there. And I don't know how, I don't know why I was able to understand women's point of view better.
Yeah.
Maybe because I was raised with women. But a part of me feels like it was just that my main strength is empathy. I'm able to think into people's minds really well.
Right.
So I think that's why it resonated with women more than men. But that's how it began. It wasn't a linear process. I wasn't like, I'm gonna teach women. Who will fucking do that? You know, like, like I'm a dude who gets women.
Yeah.
You know, but it's kind of like, why not learn from the guys who play you? You know, and that's where I come.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nice. So the whole mindfulness, that's a therapy technique, right?
Well, it's the mindfulness part is the most important part, because the mindfulness is more self-awareness.
Right.
If you don't have self-awareness in dating, you're going to keep encountering your shadow side through the people who you date. You're going to keep finding the parts of yourself that you hate embodied in a person.
Yeah.
And you're never going to run away from them, because you can never run away from yourself. Right. Most people have a primal attraction to people who reflect the parts that they suppress in themselves. So if you have a nice girl,
that is so true. That's why so many marriages don't work out.
No, yeah.
Because that they live with that every day. You're gonna be like, it's time to go.
Yeah. It's just a lack of self-awareness. Like, they don't know why they're attracted to certain people. They don't know the source of their emotions, why they like the assholes, why they don't like the good guys. And sometimes it's not about fixing it. Sometimes it's just about knowing the source of those emotions.
Yeah.
As soon as you know it, something about awareness, it just frees you from the chains of those emotions. And so the mindfulness part, to me, is the most important part. It's not the part that people highlight. You know, they highlight the evil shit, but in between that, if you find my channel, you might be attracted to the toxicity, but people who are attracted to my toxicity are the perfect candidates, because once they watch my channel, they'll inevitably encounter the mindfulness part.
Nice.
And those are the ones that need it the most. That's why I call it toxic, to attract them.
Yeah. I wanted to get into that. How did you become the toxic dating coach?
Well, it was because one day I was in London and I heard about this Twitch streamer. They call them the toxic streamer. The toxic gamer. And I was like, wow, that sounds like me, but for dating. I was like, I'm gonna just change it to toxic dating coach. It just makes sense. It's more provocative.
Yeah.
It's definitely attractive because when I started like listening to it, I was like, oh, I just like it that it's toxic. I want to see what this is about.
Yeah, but it's
know?
perfect with it. It's perfect with the brand because to me, it's more about attracting a certain kind of person. If you need to watch a toxic dating coach, you need the mindfulness part. So it's more of a funnel to attract a certain kind of person. It's not really about manipulation, but I'll do that. I'll let people think that because you need to watch. You need to meditate.
Right.
Like if you gotta do that, you know?
What are some of the weirdest things or some of the most, standout things that women have asked you as a dating coach?
Well, man, I mean, I have a few of them, like just women asking me how do I manipulate him, even though she already manipulated him, she wants to manipulate them even more. And I'm like, God,
How
damn.
does that work? How do you manipulate even more?
Well, it's more about like how to inflict more pain. I'm like, bitch, you already have him. Like what more do you want? Like, it's over. Like it's done. I'm the devil's coach.
Out of like the men and women, since you coach both sides, who is it, the male or the females that are more difficult to coach and
Females.
Females are more difficult.
Yeah.
And who listens better? Like
The men.
The men listen better.
It
They follow
depends.
your advice.
Well, it depends. Like it's just harder for the men because the strategies I teach them are more long term.
Okay.
A man cannot men don't have instant fixes. That's a problem with men. A man just cannot say dress this, you do this, and just you'll get a girl. No, a dude. Unfortunately, with guys, they gotta build up their status. It's more manual labor. It's more long term thinking, and it's just some guys are not built for that. 90% of guys are not built for that. So that's the difference. But the difference is with men is more of a long term change. You know, you definitely have areas that you could definitely improve upon, but the difference in improvement could be like 10% or 20%, which it's something, you know. For women though, it's so easy, but the problem with women is that their emotions get in the way.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
Their emotions,
they'll see the world through a squinted gaze or fog of emotion, and
Yep.
what's simple becomes
So true.
complicated.
Right.
Yep.
You know, and that's where I find it easiest because it's kind of like he don't like you. Like, and women have a hard time accepting that.
But
So-
they're like, what can I do to make him like me?
Well, I
Right?
get- all
You're
right,
like,
I-
nothing.
Well, that's where I come in. It's kind of like a lot of people say they think I'm Jesus. Like I'm not Black Jesus. Like I can't. Like you know, he banged your sister. Like what? How do I make him respect me? He banged your sister. Like it's over.
Like when you call
Like-
yourself Father Alex. I'm like, I
fuck.
love it.
Yeah. They call me Father Alex, man.
Alex.
They call me Father Alex, and some.
I
Yeah.
love it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so cute.
Yeah, it's silly stuff. Yeah, because they used to call me Father when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So because I was a preacher, and they were like, "Hey, what's up, Father?"
Yeah,
That's where
yeah,
that came
yeah.
from. Yeah.
Now you're the toxic father.
I'm the toxic father. Yeah.
I love it.
Now with these women, right? How do you keep it? How do you keep it professional versus actually getting into engagement with these women?
No, most of these women have relationships.
Okay.
Like you gotta understand, when women come to me, they don't come to me with a relaxed mindset, open for new people. They come to me with a very desperate, and not in a bad way, but because you know they come to me as their last resort. They fuck up the whole thing. They call, they beg, and then they're like, "Help me! I did everything wrong." Oh no, like, well, bitch, he's dead. He's over. Like, it's like they come to me like they think I'm Jesus. I'm not kidding with you, man. But look, it's okay. Like I get it. Like it's the aura that YouTube gives. They assume that I could fix everything.
Yeah.
So how many relationships would you say that you patched up? Like it worked. Like your advice worked, and they got what they wanted. Like does it happen?
It's like
a lot?
10% of the time. 10% of the time. And the reason why is because they first do everything that could do to fix it, which means they fuck it up. You know, they can we curse here?
Yeah, of course. We
I'm
curse
polite,
here.
you know. they beg, they call, they lower their value, they get all of their emotions, but it's like I'm like their last resort. I'm like surgery, and it's kind of like
So they already fucked it up.
They already
it's
fucked
like,
it up.
So it's like coming back is just like I don't know,
it's
there's no
kind
comeback.
of it's kind of like he cheated on you, and you want me to help him respect you? What? Like it makes no sense. But again, you got to understand they're in a very emotional place. You're not thinking rationally.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us how do you tell them to when they're like, oh, how do I make him respect me now that he cheated on me? What's your advice?
Well, it's kind of
like a short version.
I could sense when people are trying to like they'll be like, yeah, he cheated on me with my friend, but you know he apologized though. And like he's been behaving, so I'm
they're
like,
trying to make him sound a little better because they don't want to sound like they're like, you know, that they don't look so stupid.
no,
So
they're
like,
trying to sugarcoat it
Yeah,
so that I
exactly.
could tell them, yeah, it could work out, you know. But for me, it's kind of like I could sense when they want to hear what they want to hear. So what I do is I tell them the toxic advice, which is I tell them first of all it's not gonna work out, but since I know you're hard-headed, I can sense it. I can sense.
gonna listen.
Yeah, I can tell when people are hard-headed. I'm like, look, this is what you gotta do. Pull away, like create some, put them in a sexually competitive state, create some competition.
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, and but the problem is that if a guy cheated on you and you want him to respect you, you can't just take him back. You can't just take him back. I learned this from AMS. I don't know if you guys know about him. Alpha Male Strategies. One of the things he taught.
He's another dating
coach for men. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things he talked about, like
Shout
he was
out
like
to AMS,
AMS,
yo.
right? Yeah, AMS. He's funny. I actually asked him for advice one time, but you know, a surgeon can't do surgery on itself, right? Excuse me. And what was it? What was I saying? My fault. Before that?
Surgery.
No, before that.
He ain't shit. He cheated on you.
Oh yeah, he cheated.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you got the advice from this guy.
Yeah. So what I learned, what he said, he was like, if you want a girl back, if she wants to get back with you, she's gonna have to lick my ass. And I was like, wow, that's a nice metaphor. It wasn't a metaphor.
He was dead ass.
He was dead ass. You're gonna have to lick my ass.
Yo.
And this is why, right? And there's actually a theory behind it. Is the fact that
Shout out to
if
Drake,
anybody
Dale,
could
Crackhead.
take you back, if anybody could cheat on you and then come back without paying a price, it's to them secretly they don't respect you. They don't even talk shit about you behind your back.
Right.
You know? But what they learn is that if they really want you, set a price. Say, oh, I don't like the way things ended. How are you willing to make it up to me?
Right.
So it could be make you
I'd be
lick your
like, give me
ass.
that Gucci bag I want.
That no, but the thing is that
Don't cheat on your girl.
If he's
Don't cheat on
rich,
your girl.
if he's rich,
That Gucci bag
No,
don't
that's
mean
not
nothing.
gonna matter. I'm kidding. I'm just saying.
oh, well,
For him.
well, if
we
he's
were
poor,
talking about Gucci bags earlier, so
but you know, women say that though. They be like, so that means he gotta buy me this?
no, that's
bitch,
not gonna
he's
do
rich.
it. Yeah, exactly. That's
No,
money's not gonna matter.
It could be make him write a 5-page letters, no mistakes in the letter. It could be make him run around the street with his underwear with a shirt that says
I
I
like that
love
one.
blank blank.
Right.
But if he says, what? I'm not going to do that. It just meant that he doesn't want it that bad. Because if somebody likes you, they'll do anything to get you back.
Right.
And a lot of women don't want to do that because they don't want to face reality. They know deep down he might not do it. You know? They know deep down that he might not pay that price. And so that's where I say, well, you see, that's the issue. Is that you're settling. You're deep down, you don't think you could find somebody who will love you. That's the problem.
Right.
You know, and it's kind of like for me, and this is like the most important thing for everybody. It doesn't matter men or women. What the number one reason why people have a hard time forgetting their exes is because they think that's the last time they're ever gonna feel that chemistry with somebody. Wow. Not the last time they're ever gonna get a pum pum like that. No, but
it's the connection.
Connection.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not gonna have the same connection with the next person, or how am I gonna find this type of chemistry with another person?
And how realistic is that frame of thinking?
It's a common thing because it's kind of like you got to understand this is evolutionarily speaking this is something that's very important for the human animal. It's like procreating is something that is guarded to the death with humans. Like so, it's kind of like so to feel that way. It's normal. In fact, it's a normal thing to feel that. To be honest with you,
right?
But you got to rationalize it and become rational whenever you feel irrational. and say to yourself, and remember that this is not the last person you're gonna feel chemistry with. The human animal is wired to connect with people. You are literally wired to connect with people. You just have to meet them and give them a chance.
Right.
And so a lot of these women get stuck in these toxic relationships and they never leave them. They never give other guys a chance. And so and so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, you're never going to meet somebody because you keep going back to Tyrone.
Yeah, that's great.
I find it a lot easier to date women who are not from New York. What are your thoughts on New York women?
Here we go again.
What's the problem?
He's always trying to get in trouble with our New York girlies.
I need
Come on.
to know.
We love New York.
What's the problem with New York women? What's your thoughts on that?
Gotta be nice to us.
I mean, man, I don't know. Like, to be nice, it's like they're a bunch of Wolverines, man. Like, it's
Be nice to us.
Out.
It's different because I've traveled. I've been in Europe. I've been in Mexico.
Yes.
They look at you at least. Here, they look straight through you.
Yeah.
Like you'll
That's
walk
true.
and like I'm like,
Hi.
I know I'm looking good today.
Right.
They won't even look at you. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Honestly, it makes no sense. Like New York City, and I don't care who you are. New York City is one of the hardest places to get poom poom. I think it's one of the hardest places. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm serious. Simply because there's something in the water. I don't know what it is because I go to Europe. The women are just nicer.
That's why I drink bottled water. It's not in my water. It is not in my water.
I have a theory. Perhaps I think it's because I don't know. I've been thinking about that lately.
Well said. Yes.
Because I lived in Mexico for a year. I lived in Amsterdam. I went to Berlin, and just the women there are just more receptive to sex. I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Yes.
I don't know what it is because it's kind of like they're liberal, right? Like free the nipple. So why not with? I don't know. That makes no sense. Any theories,
Bro, I don't know. They're just mean. I think it's something in the water too. Like New York women are just
Actually,
like
somebody on my
dudes.
somebody on my live is like, there's too many options.
In New York.
Yeah, there's just too many options, and
they
I think he has a point. Like, there's a lot of options out here, and so I feel like even with the men, like, you know, they don't want to commit. They don't want relationships because they're around the corner. There's going to be another one.
Right.
And now social media makes it like DM is the new dating site, apparently, you know?
Possibly. I mean, that could possibly be it. They have more options, but it's kind of like women have more options everywhere. Like, women have unlimited options. So it cannot be that because the best dating coaches come from New York City. Just like the biggest animals come from Africa. You know, like, it's like,
I don't know if I agree that we have so many options. Like, we have options, but are they like quality options or are they just options?
I don't know. For example, we
Like,
can't.
I want some quality options.
We can't say it's more competition because, well, one of the things that women say a lot when it comes to New York City is that, wow, I'm not the only pretty one anymore, right?
Yeah, there's beautiful women here.
Okay, so clearly it's not the
Gorgeous
fact that they don't feel as attractive because when they
Right.
come here, women feel less attractive.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, your self-esteem is down and yet you're not giving, it makes no sense. It's like it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
I'm seriously considering, like, honestly, I'm thinking about this all year long. I want to go to school and study this because it makes no sense why women in America are so like aversive to sex. But when you go to Europe, the women are so open to it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you can't say it's feminism in Europe because women here are feminists.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're pro-sex.
But they just grew up a lot different. Like, in Europe, everything is more open. It always was. So, but here, I wouldn't say that it's like that.
It's becoming more open.
It's becoming more open now, but I'm saying
you're right.
before it was more like, and even parents, you know, raise their daughters or try to, like, you know, oh, you don't have sex before marriage, like, don't be with a lot of men, like this and that. So they're not like, oh, honey, when you date, sleep with them right away to see if you like that relationship. Like, see how compatible you are. Like, no parents are at home telling their little girls that.
Yeah,
They're just not.
But
so.
is that really a problem, though, as a grown-up, sleeping with somebody early in the relationship to find out, you know, if you're compatible on that level?
It's a problem if you don't. Because if you don't do it, what happens is that a lot of women use testing a guy to see whether or not they like him and then giving them the pum pum, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, no. What happens is that a guy will not know if he likes you unless he bangs you, because because now when he's talking to you, his dick is talking to you.
Yes.
His dick is texting you. Dicks are incredible, have incredible manners. They're the best actors. They're
best.
very polite.
Yes.
So polite.
Oh yeah, they respond fast too. You know, they're flattering. They're the perfect gentleman. You know, but as soon as you bang the girl, your dick runs away, and you're like, "What the fuck? What? I'm with her. I don't like her."
Oh wow.
But
I don't like
a lot of, and then now what happens with the woman? The woman is stuck with a guy that don't like him, but now she loves him because she was like, he's the one.
Yeah.
Because he dicked her down good.
Yeah, but the problem is that now he realized he doesn't like her, but she likes him. Now she's stuck.
And that's where the problem lies.
And it sounds so. I bet guys in the background are like, yeah, tell him, the Lexus. yeah. But it's like I know it sounds so obvious for a guy to say that, but just look at the logic. It's kind of like you don't want to fall in love with somebody who will not be there for you. So it's kind of like better off have sex. I'll go with the second date. You know, third date. Okay,
Second,
whatever.
third date. Yeah,
Second,
yeah.
third date. If it's Tinder, first date. If he knows your friend, go with the second date
If he
because
knows your friend.
yeah, because you gotta people talk. You know, at least be polite. You know, and then you could do it. But it's kind of like before that, like it's just I don't know, man. It's a strategy that makes no. It's a logical strategy. I get it, but it doesn't benefit the woman. It doesn't benefit them. It gives her more power if she has sex with the guy on the. People don't believe me. On the first date or second date. First of all, if the guy gets turned off because
it gives the woman more power if she sleeps with the man on the first or second date.
well,
Yes.
this is why. If a
Okay,
guy
tell
gets
me all
turned
about
off,
it.
Yes.
if he gets turned off because you had sex with him on the first date, that's a red flag already.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's a red flag. He's a hypocrite because it's kind of like you banged me too, you know.
Yes.
Also, you're able to then see the person for who he really is. If he doesn't text you or doesn't call you back, it didn't mean he got turned off because he had sex with you. Because it's very easy to correlate those two. It's like, oh, okay, I had sex with him, and then after I did that, he got turned off. It was because of that. No, it was most likely because he realized he didn't like you.
Yes.
And now you're not in love with him.
Right, and he probably would have done that down the line anyway. You're just learning it now.
Speeding up the
Ladies.
process.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
heard?
Speeding up the process.
Have sex on the first date.
It's a win-win.
One or two. I mean,
Win.
Yes. It's a nice way. But in general, when it comes, for example, with men, the number one dating advice I always give men is be good at something. Be the best at something. Be the best in your class, then be the best in your school, then
Right.
be your best in your block, city, and state, country. And it's possible. Every single person has access to a higher form of intelligence, which comes through mastery. People are designed to value people that are good at something.
Right.
So it could be that back in the days, maybe it was hunting. Back in the days, maybe it was getting berries. Maybe it was being able to identify the poisonous fruits from the good ones. Maybe it was being able to navigate the sea or go to a certain island to migrate. The point is that value in today's society is all about skill set. The problem that most people have is that a lot of people are not lucky born with value. They're not lucky born with natural charisma, and they're not lucky born with good looks. That's what people are born with that actually makes them attractive.
Right.
Outside of that, if you're not born with charisma or good looks, now you got to work on being good at something. So it could be that maybe you're at a McDonald's, excuse me, and you're a fry person. Maybe become the manager. Then you could get some McDonald's poom poom, right? Or maybe you're in art school, become the best artist in your school.
Yes.
Somebody's gonna fuck you.
Yeah,
Somebody's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
want to bang you. Or
that's
maybe
actually so true because when you meet someone, even when they're not that attractive, when they're really good at something and you watch them do it, whether
Yeah.
it's creative, whether it's like a DJ or a dancer or for like whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
when you see them at their craft, like at their best, you're like, damn, that just became a lot more attractive.
Right,
you
right.
know?
being good at something has an aura of charisma.
It really does.
So if you're
It
not
will
charismatic,
attract you.
it just does.
It just attracts you. Yeah, it really does.
If you're not good at something and you don't have charisma, if you don't have charisma, the next best kind of charisma is the charisma that comes by being good at something. You could put a rock star
I agree.
at a stage and he'll be charismatic. Put him in a bar alone, he's not charismatic anymore.
It's just nothing. Like
Yeah.
you'll see him sitting at the bar, you probably walk right by. Like there's
Yeah,
tons
yeah.
of people that I don't find attractive at all until I see them doing their thing, and then I'm like, wow, that's attractive.
Kind
You
of
know?
sexy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because even when they're good at something, their mannerisms change. Everything about them
Absolutely.
changes.
Now, do women need to have that same level of charisma, Or how do women go about attracting and just?
Men are a little more simple, Brick. They don't care. They're like it's.
Yeah, women, y'all don't need charisma. You heard?
We don't need much.
No, I mean, this is the reason why. It's not because they can't, but simply because that's not what women valued when we were hunter gatherers. Women are still the human animals, still designed to be hunter gatherers. That's why we feel so much friction being here. We feel a lack of sense of purpose. We feel depressed, sad, lonely because we're not in the environment that we were designed to be. You know, it's like a whale. It's like a whale in a pool. Their fins are gonna fall down. Right now we metaphorically have our fins down. People who don't have a sense of purpose. So women back then, when you looked at a man, you didn't look for the funniest motherfucker. Funny it doesn't get a woman to like you. I'm just like, it just makes you look like a clown if you're not funny.
Funny's not attractive.
It's not attractive. It's funny when you have masculinity behind that funniness, when you're unintentionally funny. That's
I
the
agree.
kind of
totally.
That's the kind of funny that's
if
like,
they're just like making you laugh all day, you're like, oh, this is a joke. Like you're not gonna find passion in bed with that person that's not making you laugh. That's making you laugh all day, but they're just a jokester.
But you know what? The real humor is in your value. When a woman likes you, you're funny to her.
Yeah, that's true too. You're right.
I'll see a girl at class listening to a guy talking, just laughing. I'm like, he's not that funny, but she's funny to him because she's reacting to his value. Yeah, you know. But back then, women were designed to look for the guys who were most competent, who looked like that they could provide for the family, who could hunt, who had the wisdom to maybe find certain things. So they're still that same animal. And a lot of people think that women are just different right now, that you gotta look a certain way. No, I can promise you, you can look like a bum, but if you're the best artist in your state and you're known as the best artist, Picasso was getting 20-year-old pum pum as an 80-year-old.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had them fighting for him and stuff like that. So for men, man, just get good at something, man. Become leaders.
Good advice.
For women, though, is having emotional stability. Nobody wants a psycho girlfriend. Well, depends what you want from her.
So I hear you talk a lot about like, oh, women need to control their emotions. They need to be. So is it that we need to be less emotional, or we just need to control our emotions? Do we know when to, like, we need to know when to show the emotion and when not to, or like, what is it? Break it down for us.
First of all, it's not that you got to control women. When I say you got to control your emotions.
No, I mean women need to control their emotions is what I'm saying.
Well, but it's because some people might listen to that and misconstrue it.
Oh,
the reason why I say control your emotions is because it changes what you see in a guy. It colors the way you see a guy. If you're too emotional, you may not see the guy for who he really is. Other people might see the narcissistic personality in him, and you might see it as a beautiful thing. So it's kind of like controlling your emotions, not really about me controlling you, but you being able to see what they are. Because
so take the blinders off, basically.
Exactly.
Just like see him for who he really is.
Exactly.
Not for like the emotional attachment, like, oh, but I'm so in love with him. Nah, take a look, girl.
But how do women do that? Like, how do they control their emotions?
Well,
I can.
You can?
Yes. I can.
Well, it depends. Like some, you know, like the
I used to be a little crazy.
The crazy girls control their emotions best, right?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, people also, not you, but some people who lack empathy, narcissistic people are able to control their emotions very well, actually. They don't even blink at the sight of a gun being pointed at them. Like narcissistic people, they have this like coldness. They have ice cold in their veins. Like they're just like that. But most people will not be able to control their emotions. It comes through a rational process. Yeah. Like to control your emotions, you got to use your other side of the human of your newer addition, which is your frontal cortex, which is your rationality. Yes. And like I said, the rationality comes to you telling yourself, this is not the last person I'm gonna be with. I'm gonna feel better over time. You got to keep telling yourself that. Or watching and reading books that tell you that, so that it could get through those emotions. You got to keep repeating that and pounding that and beat it into submission until you really believe it.
I take it back now. I don't have good control over my emotions. I hide them well. Like I'm good at like, you know, I keep the crazy under like control.
Well, it's smart. It's socially intelligent. You know, socially intelligent people control their emotions very well.
Yes, I can.
So that's pretty much it. And the guy.
But when I get home, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, you have to.
What does that mean exactly, to be socially intelligent?
Well, first of all, social intelligence is mostly about not being self-absorbed, not always thinking about yourself, not seeing the world through your own eyes, but making an effort to see the world through other people's eye. Too many people are too self-consumed, too self-absorbed, where they're not able to even sense the hostility in people's voices.
Right.
They can't even sense when they have an enemy staring at them in their face because they just keep thinking about their own insecurities. It's all about me, 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 me. And you think you're looking at the world when in reality, you're just looking at yourself. You know, the world is more of your background and your emotions are more of your main focus. And so a lot of people never truly connect with people, never really know people at an emotional level. And for me,
sad.
It's sad, but that's where dating comes into place, where dating will force you into either looking at yourself or it will beat you to submission to the point where you become bitter. There's no other way there's no two way around it. You can't escape that reality.
Okay.
You know, so it's kind of
That
like
is so on point what you just said. On point.
yeah. And that's why you have a lot of bitter people. You see a lot of older people who are bitter, who are sad. A lot of our parents, a lot
Very
of our
common.
aunts.
Yeah, so common.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's sad seeing people at an older age who failed and who gave up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, for me, that's what motivates me. It's kind of like I want to make sure that you never get to that point and where you look back at your life and it's not that you didn't have an opportunity to find somebody, but that you fucked it up. Like for me, if somebody doesn't like you, it's fine. Just don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah.
The ones that where if we would have not just said that, if we would have not just called them, it would have worked out.
Yeah.
You know, and that to me, that's the one that if there's something that I could teach people is that 95% of the people you're gonna meet are not gonna like you. 95% of the people you're gonna meet, you're not gonna have chemistry with them, either with friends and the opposite sex. So you gotta lower your expectations. A lot of people fail. You just never hear it because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, you never hear people getting played, and so you think you're alone in this island.
Yeah.
Alex, yo.
Well,
You knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, that was
now
deep.
you see why I love him
That was
like this.
deep. Now, with that said, let me ask you a question. How does love happen? Is love a lowering of your expectations, or is love a result of meeting somebody who's at your level?
yeah.
Or acceptance, because you really have to accept the person, like accept their differences too. Like you're not gonna find exactly what you're looking like a checklist or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lowering of your expectations, because when you settle, it'll eventually backfire on you. You'll get those pretty pictures. Most likely, you settle to shut your parents up and whatever. That's not real love, but that's what most people think is love, unfortunately. And you got to feel for them. For me, there's two. I call it natural chemistry, right? Where there are people who you meet that you have great chemistry with.
Right.
And you just vibe with them. There's no words for it. You could just have a great conversation with them. Those people are the ones that are the hardest to really evaluate, because that chemistry is so addictive.
And easy. Like it's just easy. Right?
Having chemistry with a
So
woman
true.
or with a man that's perfect is better than sex. I don't care who you are.
I agree.
Like when you have that chemistry where you feel, even kissing her, it feels like a euphoria. It doesn't compare to anything. And so you overlook a lot of flaws simply because they make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
They become a drug. And that is love, but it's toxic love.
Just the way we like
Just
it.
toxic love. It's the most addictive kind of love. But it's unfortunate. It's a kind of love that corrodes you inside. It destroys you. It's not the type of thing that you want.
Yes.
Now you have the other kind where you have great chemistry, same chemistry, but you guys are compatible. You guys want the same thing. You guys want he's healthy for you. That's the good kind of love. We can't say that just because they're toxic, that don't mean that they love each other, but that they just have a toxic love.
Yeah.
So it's that's what I think love is. I could be wrong.
Do you think that toxic love always fades eventually because it's based on like that lust behind it and not so much like the basis of what you said, like that healthy foundation?
Well, toxic love is not based on the lust, because lust, well, you guys would just have sex for a few weeks and it'll be over.
Oh, okay, I got
The toxic love is a kind of love that is hard to run away from because
I see.
Because there's the hope of maybe this time it will be different,
yeah.
or they'll change.
Yeah, totally.
You become a prisoner of hope.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that's deep. Now, regular folks, at what point do you say I'm not tolerating nothing else from this person?
Well, it's kind of like it's very hard to know that point when you're in that when you're in that wave of emotion. You will keep moving the goalpost. First 2 weeks to slow the spread. No, let's get the vaccine first and then we'll stop.
Right.
75%. Then last week, 95%. Hey, the goalpost just keeps getting moved up.
Yeah.
Right. And so we mentally move up the goalpost because we really want to see them. And you got to realize your mind will play tricks on you. You think you're not moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how the mind plays tricks on you. So you got to make those mistakes first and evaluate. And unfortunately, that mistake might mean you losing the love of your life. You know, and that's how you learn your lesson. A lot of people are hard-headed. A lot of people don't have premature wisdom. They don't just learn from other people's mistakes.
That's
they got to
so
see
true.
themselves.
What do you think is the biggest mistake men make in relationships?
Well, in relationships,
Or like even in the beginning, like you meet a girl, you start dating, like
accepting uncertainty from women. Accepting uncertainty.
Shout out my brother C.O. Vlad.
Oh, shout out. Accepting uncertainty in terms of her, like, or even like accepting inconsistencies, accepting lateness. Like
that's their biggest mistake. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't accept it.
Well, you see, it truly does depend. Like, it's just that women, 90% of the times, the women you meet will lose interest in you. So you have to assume it's not going to work out.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Assume that this girl who you're seeing, you're not going to see her no more. You have to, because it does happen. Women will just try their best to show you they like you.
Facts.
Because they want to be polite. They don't want to hurt you. And people, it's like when you go out with a girl.
I'm never that polite person.
Well, good.
Oops.
No, that's good. But it's like when you go out with a girl that and she doesn't look at her photos. I'm like, fuck. She's like she's fat, man. Some bullshit. You know. But then you don't want to be mean to her. You're like, oh, y'all see you next time. Yeah, call me, bitch. Yeah, call me because I don't want to make her feel bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like with people that you meet.
DJ Sparks.
Expect it not to work. Lower those expectations. Lower them. Lower them to the ground, so that if anything positive happens, it's a positive surprise. It's just the thing is that when we're so desperate, when we're so hungry for love, we have our hopes up every moment. Every moment is a moment of hope, and it's not to be pessimistic. It's more about rationally being rationally negative in a rational way, not negative from a place of trauma, but negative in a rational way. You like, I'm dealing with a woman here. She doesn't know what she wants. She might be choosing between me and another guy. Me or Tyrone. So it's kind of like you never know. You never know. Or Luis the Puerto Rican. Like,
know, right?
You never know. So it's kind of like you just have to be that negative because what women will try to do, they'll try to make you think it's gonna happen.
Right.
You know, because it could also mean you could give her something.
Yeah.
You know, how do you control a child who's compulsive? Promise him a surprise, and all of a sudden that kid will behave.
Yeah.
You know, so what they'll do, women will put a guy in their prison of hope. They're like, maybe one day. No, fuck that shit. Expect it's not gonna work out, and she'll sense that you're pulling away. And if she likes you, she'll show you her cards. But 95% of the times, you realize that they really didn't like you.
Women are masters at stringing along, right? Like, is it something they just do naturally or
Easy,
men-
Brick. I feel like men do the same thing.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
they do.
Yeah, we're gonna fight now. Yeah,
they do.
High
absolutely.
value men do that.
Yeah, they do.
Men string
Yeah.
along also.
Yep.
So, Alex, what are some things that you have to look for so you can kind of sense that they're stringing you along?
After the third date, if she don't give it that poom poom, find somebody else. I mean, that's the first one. After the third date, honestly, I've never been out with a girl after the second date. Like if I didn't get sex after the second date, it's not
gonna happen.
I've never had sex on a third date with a girl ever.
Serious?
Wow. So if it's
it's
not happening
on the
after
sec-
two,
If it doesn't
it's
happen
done?
after two, it's done.
So you gotta get the box. 2 dates or less.
from my experience, I know for most guys it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right. But from my experience, it's just never happened. I mean, but the thing is that sometimes when a woman likes you, they won't give you sex early. When a woman doesn't like you, sometimes they'll give you sex early because they don't care about your opinion.
Well, no, not give it early, but I think
Yeah.
if they really like you, they might not give it to you right away.
Yeah, exactly, because they want to preserve you.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they're like, I'm not gonna give it up because I gotta like.
But then you tell them, girl, my last girl,
Listen,
we banged on the first day. No, of course you don't say that, but
No, don't say
you
that.
string me along, you lose me. I'm with Alex on this one.
But I tell you what,
Eight or less.
one of the ways is that she doesn't give you poom poom after the third date. She's stringing you along. Or let me see what else. I think after the third date, that's the best way to not let yourself get played and keep them cheap. Keep the dates cheap and simple. Little
Copy.
walk. Take them to McDonald's.
A
them
little
to
walk,
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Nah, not McDonald's, not
Oh
McDonald's,
my
McDonald's.
God, you're never gonna get
Burger
a second
King.
date.
Just take him to like a get
Listen,
a drink.
it's mashed potatoes from Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Yo.
Hey.
Mashed potatoes from Popeyes.
Listen, it better be like a lobster dinner or else not getting a second date.
That's that open door test from fucking the Bronx Tale.
Yes, that's the test. I love that.
So, Alex, I want to know
up?
how has becoming the toxic dating coach kind of affected your dating life?
Yes, how's your love life? We need to hear all about it.
I mean, look, man, I bet the negative effects. I cannot quantify the negative effects because I don't know how many women have said, "Oh, he teaches this. Let me not talk to him." So that's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's been positive. I mean, oh wow, I saw you. Aren't you Alex from YouTube and you're on Tinder? Yeah, it's me, girl. Yeah. Oh yeah, girl. I'm not toxic at all. I won't play you. I promise. It's helped. It's definitely helped.
course.
It's helped with women. It helps. It's kind of like when I was a male dating coach. I had male groupies.
Oh, the moopies.
Now,
The
I
moopies,
like
male
that.
groupies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but now you have female groupies. But again, it's not like I'm banging my clients.
Yeah.
I don't do that because always money and people talk. You don't want to do that.
Yes.
But they do have friends.
There you go.
So it definitely has helped. With my friends, it hasn't affected much. I mean, I bet there's some slight envy, but who wouldn't feel? I mean, everybody. It's just human nature. You got to deal with it, But outside of that, it's just all been positive. I mean, if it's negative, it's simply because they just don't really. They haven't really watched my videos because if you really watch my videos, it's not really toxic. It sounds toxic, but it really isn't.
That's lies.
What would you say is like the next
That's
level?
toxic. It's toxic.
What's the next level in your career?
You see, I don't want to just be on YouTube. It's like it's nice being on YouTube, but I also have other interests. I wanna go back to school, get a doctor's degree, maybe be a teacher, a professor, because I think I have a talent for teaching, but also do research, and also I'm in art school, so I also want to be known more as an artist and a YouTuber one day. So it's kind of like I one day want to do other things and be known for other things outside of YouTube, because I believe that everybody has a calling in life. And you got to follow your natural inclinations, your primal inclinations, like you with doing all of this, with producing, you and your brother. And it's kind of like, it's whenever you just do something, it's fine just doing YouTube, but a lot of YouTubers feel empty inside. They have a lot of time in their hands. I remember when I first started YouTube, I had so much time. I was depressed as fuck. I remember that I when I first moved out on my own in 2018, I remember I was just depressed. It was unbearable. I used to smoke weed and I still smoke. It was just crazy depression. And it was simply because I had too much time on my hand. And a lot of these YouTubers have a lot of time on their hands. They work at home, so they don't really socialize.
Right.
So it becomes very easy to get depressed. So I began reading a book called Mastery by Robert Greene. I don't know if you guys heard about him.
That's the 50 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Power.
48 Laws of Power. 50th Law
He's
with
at the
50 Cent.
50th floor. Yes. Okay.
And he had his book called Mastery, which I think is an absolute complete masterpiece of a book. And one of the things in his book that says that is that everybody, you possess a kind of inner force that seeks to guide you towards your life's task.
Yes.
What you're meant to accomplish in the time that you have to live. And he talks about how finding that inner calling is the number one thing in life that you have to do. And for me, as soon as I realized that, I realized it was art. And I just never felt as depressed as I used to. So it's a good life, but you know, a lot of these dudes in YouTube, they're depressed. You know.
So out of like all the people that you've coached, men and women, what's like the one craziest thing that you ever encountered?
I mean, I've had it's just been thousands of them, man. I've had couples.
There's just not one that you can put your finger on.
Yeah, I've had couples on the phone and they're both talking. I'm like, what? Couples therapy, and they're both fighting and like, the cult one was the biggest one. The cult one was the most evil motherfucker one, man. He wasn't successful at it because he just didn't have the charisma.
Right.
But the cult one was the funniest one. You know, but outside of that, you just get basic stuff. Like, how do I get this guy who banged my sister? Or crazy shit like that. The worst ones are the girls who are abused and they still want to go back to their boyfriends. And that's where I'm like, I have a tougher time with this, you know, because it's kind of like I know where she's coming from. It's an addiction. I get it. It's like being addicted to heroin. It's literally like that, because when you stay with somebody who's toxic, you develop toxic traits. Right. Like, for example, if you stay with somebody who cheats on you, what's one of the... let's just say somebody cheats on you, and they're like, baby, I swear to God, I'll give you my password. You can look at my pass, you can look at my phone, and you're like, okay, I'll do that. And also, I got to check up on you. And in fact, I got to track you where you go too. Okay? And you think you have control. But then let's just find out this relationship ends. And now you're used to that kind of power. Next person you meet, you're gonna have those same trust issues. You're gonna want to monitor them, and now the victim now became the perpetrator. Wow. You know, like it's kind of like fighting. It's kind of like if you're a victim of racism, you could become racist because you're a victim of racism. It's just you know, like so it's kind of like,
and that's true too. Like in every way, not just those situations, but
it's just really easy to fall into that.
Yeah,
it's crazy how we don't want to become our parents, but we come exactly like our parents.
Oh my God, I say that all the time. I'll be like, oh my God, I used to make fun of my mother for doing that, and now I'm like doing it.
Well, but that's why staying with toxic people is not good, because you're getting that momentary satisfaction, but you're ruining your future relationships, because the next person who you meet who has a very good attachment style, you're going to want to control them because you were with somebody who betrayed you, and the only way for you to feel like self-assured is to control their lives.
That's crazy.
And without knowing it, now you can't have a healthy relationships without feeling constant like thoughts. Is he cheating on me? Who's the bitch? All that shit. But it just is what it is. There's always going to be people like that in the world. It will never be a lack of weak people, unfortunately. I mean, my job is to try to help as many of them as possible with my toxicity. They gotta be a little toxic.
They gotta be a
little toxic, man.
Well, if you haven't already, check out the Toxic Dating Coach on Mindful Attraction, only on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. All right. We're gonna have the question of the day coming up next. You gonna stick around, Alex?
Yeah, bro.
Let's do it.
Yes.
And we're back. Bartender Talks, of course, DJ Intake, Brick Events.
Yes.
Kim, the mixologist.
Yes.
We have Alex, the Toxic Dating Coach, with us today.
Yo.
We got a lot of gems from him already.
Yo.
But we got one more question to ask you, Alex. Mm-hmm. We call it the question of the day. It gets a little spicy, but that shouldn't go unnoticed with you because...
on brand.
Brick, take it away.
All right. So the question of the day.
Oh boy.
If you vent to your partner, but they use what you said against you once, should you vent elsewhere or should you try again?
Only once, right?
One time.
In the 25-year relationship, he only did it once.
Well, 25 years is a long time, but let's say we realistically, we've been dating for about a year and a half, 2 years. I vented to you about some shit that happened to me when I was younger.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, months down the line, we get into a big argument, and you just throw that in my face.
You bedwetter.
Small dick motherfucker.
Shit like that.
I think that's funny.
That's hilarious, bedwetter.
Do you go back to her at that point, or do you go back to him? What are your thoughts?
It depends on what it was. I mean, bedwetter, I think I'll laugh at that.
you
I'm
gotta laugh at that. Like,
funny
come on
motherfucker.
now.
Listen,
I mean, it depends on the thing, but you see, you give them one more chance. I think, in my opinion, you know, if she's your partner and you love her, maybe she slipped up, you know, and if she does it again, then yeah. But you know, something about humans is that people never do things just once. Every time you see somebody fighting in the streets,
So
most
true.
likely they'll fight again.
Yeah.
And it's anybody that cheats on you, most likely they cheated on you
cheat again.
and will cheat on you again. So because humans are just are we're animals. We're susceptible to patterns. Animals have patterns. And we have an ingrained character inside of us that will always repeat itself. We are a prisoner to our character, through and through. We think we're free, but that's the illusion that the mind gives you, the illusion of freedom. So it depends. I would say give him one more shot. But after the second time, you know how the saying goes: fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
That's right.
So that's how it works.
We know it. We know it.
That's like you can't be giving people too many second chances. Too many people give people second chances too many times, and it's kind of like you got to limit how many chances you give people, man. I will go with 2 chances, and that's it, man. Like,
But I think it's important, right? Because somebody doesn't know what you like, what you don't like, right? So let's say maybe like they did like bring up something in the past, but they didn't mean it maliciously.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Gotta-
Maybe they didn't know that was a trigger for you, or that makes you feel bad. So
Also
obviously-
true.
well, the premise was
Yeah.
they know it was something that
Oh, well,
hurt
if they
you.
knew that they're throwing it in your face, then
Well, but again, and that's when if you love somebody, you give them a chance,
Right.
a chance. You know,
One second chance.
one chance, and they know.
Okay.
You know, so it's kind of like if you can't control your emotions for my sake, we got a problem.
Right.
You know, and if you do it once, that most likely it could escalate to other things. I promise, baby, I will never hit you again.
Well, yeah.
And that's how these things start. This is how things become toxic. It doesn't just become day and to night. All of a sudden, it's very subtle to the point where you don't even notice it's nighttime.
yeah.
These and people got to be very careful with love. Love will blind you to abusers, man. It's like just
Facts.
got to be very careful, man.
Yeah,
Be very
yeah.
careful.
It's true. You always think it's gonna get better. You're like, oh,
It's
you
hope.
know, it's hope. It's that hope.
It's
it keeps
hope.
you there.
It's not reality.
It really isn't.
It's not that you're looking at reality eyeball to eyeball. You're just in your own little fantasies, hoping that things will work out. It's like when you know you're broke and you're buying something, you're hoping your card goes through. You know, it's the same thing.
You're
know?
like, please let it go through, please.
Please, man. This girl can't think I'm broke.
What did you say? Love will make you a slave to hope.
Hope.
A slave to hope. Yeah.
But it's like it's ingrained in your DNA to hope that things happen. You know, like you have all these loser monkeys in the wild hoping that one day things will work out. You know, so it's kind of like hope is you gotta understand hope is linked to dopamine.
Yes.
Dopamine makes you expect things. It makes you want things to happen. So you work towards it. So you hope that your effort will be rewarded. What gives you the energy to do something for reward is dopamine. It's your energy. Is what gives you the energy. So a lot of people are just being led by that neurochemical, which is dopamine. And what happens when you're led by dopamine, naturally your brain, when dopamine releases, it naturally stops the production of oxytocin, which is the neurochemical that allows you to connect with people. So it's kind of like when you're just always hoping for this thing to work out, you're not connecting with this person. You're not really looking at them for who they are.
Yes.
So you're dealing with a wild beast, thinking you're dealing with a human, thinking you're dealing with somebody who loves you. You're not looking at them. You're looking at them through your own fantasies.
Of course.
And it makes me sad because that's the reality of a lot of people. And I just hope that maybe by watching my channel, they wake up from that, you know?
yeah.
So if you can't like vent to your partner, right? Who do you vent to? Like, let's say you gave that second chance, they blew
Alex
it.
on Mindful Attraction.
Right.
No,
It's on YouTube.
No, you gotta find somebody who will make you feel comfortable enough to vent to. You know, like if you cannot vent to your partner, that's a red flag.
That's really sad.
That's
Like,
a red flag.
How are you gonna even spend any time with that person if they're not gonna like at least cuddle you a little bit or be like, babe, it's gonna be all right. Like, tell me what's up, what's wrong, how can I help, what can I do? Like, how are you not gonna care
But
for them?
Don't you think your man is soft if he comes through like that?
No, not at all.
No.
That's
You don't
so
think he's acting
sweet.
soft?
And if she said, "Oh, he's just emotionally unavailable," I'm like, you just making excuses for him, man. If he's emotionally unavailable, then he's not for you.
Exactly. And why? And what is that anyway? I never understood that. Oh, he's emotionally
Excuses.
unavailable. Like,
Just
I
excuses.
think that's like the most ridiculous. I don't even know what women call that thing.
Look,
So that's a made up word.
Yeah, that's a made up bullshit.
Well,
Like,
well,
that's some
it-
bullshit.
you
Like,
have to-
he's not into you, right? Like,
It's that
he's just not into you.
It's that simple. You
yeah,
have
he
to
don't give a
realize.
fuck. Like, he's just like, what? She got problems. I don't care.
No fucks given.
No,
Like,
zero.
that's it. You got to realize that people's personality is different depending on how much they like you. So if somebody, you have a guy, I've dated women who I would never let them sleep in my bed. Go home, girl. Okay, I'm calling you an Uber. Okay, I don't like sleeping with people. I even had girls who would come over and I'll be like, she can't go home. So I'm like, you know what? I'll sleep in the sofa and you sleep in my bed. That girl could talk to another girl who I like, and she tells him, how does he treat you?
He let me sleep in the bed.
He let me
right?
sleep in my bed. He actually begged me. I didn't want to.
But what is it about these girls that you would not let her sleep in your bed? And I'm assuming after you bang it, right?
Maybe, yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, there's nothing. It has nothing to do with them. It's just that I just don't connect with them. You got to realize it's like if people not connecting with you has nothing to do with how valuable you are. Some people don't like pizza. Pizza's great, but some people just don't like it.
Yeah.
Some people are intolerant to lactose. So it's kind of like sometimes people don't like you, not because they just don't like you, but because they just don't. Not because they don't like you because of your personality, but because they just don't like you. Their bodies don't react to you.
Right,
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
it's
You
okay.
can't because if you take it personal, then that's when you begin to start doing toxic shit. That's when you begin to do everything possible to stay with them, and that's when the toxicity starts. It's kind of you gotta realize that some people just won't like you, and that's that. The thing is that everyone always talks about their success. And so when things don't work out, you don't say nothing, but you think that because you don't hear people relating to your story, you think you're the only one. But in reality, people don't say because it's embarrassing.
Yes.
But almost everybody has gotten played. They just don't say because it's embarrassing. So like I said earlier, you feel alone. You think that you're a loser. When in reality, everybody's a loser. Everybody gets played.
Yeah.
Everybody gets dumped. That one girl who you don't like, that one girl that doesn't like you but you love her has a guy that doesn't like her that she loves, and that guy has a girl that doesn't love her, and it's a
it just
circle.
goes on
It's
and
a
on. Yeah, it's like
circle.
vicious.
Wow.
Going down the train.
You gotta join
Yeah.
that circle. See the reality. Just see the reality. That's what I'm trying to say. See the reality, because the illusion that people have is that they're successful with their relationships. You see people with smiling in their photos, and you think that's really who they are, and so you play into appearances. Reality is not what you see. Houses look perfect from the outside, but when you go inside, you realize they have
It's
problems
totally
with the plumbing.
different. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, for me, it's just getting people as close to reality, as close to the razor edges of reality as possible.
And anybody
And-
could show you out here like a different side of them. You know, that's what scares me about like being single or dating. Like they can show you whatever they want to show you. It doesn't necessarily mean that's who they are.
Yeah, you could date a girl who was known in school for banging the whole football team, and you don't
see her
even know
now,
it.
and
Yeah.
she's like, third date, no, I'm not giving you any. And then next thing you know, like you hear.
Oh, that's the worst one, when you know a girl gives it up and then she's like, she's changed with you.
Yeah,
you
with
like,
you, you're
wow.
like-
No, the worst one is when she's like, if you would have met me last year, what?
You would have had it already.
Oh yeah, but now the bitch, now you're lighting. Oh my god, I hate that shit. I hate that shit. Every guy can relate to that
Yeah,
shit.
like they're born again virgin.
Yeah.
Like, I had sex before, but I'm not having it anymore.
Not with me. Oh, hell no.
Let's regress a little bit just for today. Fuck, man, I hate that shit.
Well, we really enjoyed you, Alex, on the show.
I'm glad.
If the people want to find you, why don't you tell them where they can find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube as the Toxic Dating Coach for Women, mindfulattraction.org for men, because you know how politics is. You know, it's a lot easier to like. I'll make the same videos for men and women, and the men's will be demonetized and the women won't. Same video. You can find me on TikTok as the Toxic Dating Coach, and that's it. On Instagram, the Lexus P, and yeah, it's very easy to find me.
Everybody needs to check him out. He's awesome.
Definitely check
Facts.
him out, the Toxic Dating Coach, right
Yes.
here on Bartender Talks. Of course, I'm your host, DJ Intake. Find me on Instagram, DeeJayintake. Brick, where can they find you?
Only on Instagram. I'm at Brick Events. If not, catch me at Bartender Talks IG.
Boom, boom, boom,
Yes.
boom,
There
boom.
you go.
Beautiful.
Our mixologist, Kim, of course.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Kimmy K Hair and Makeup. Only eyes, no Y's. So KIMIK Hair and Makeup.
Shout out to the Kentucky Mules, sponsored by our sponsor, Thoughts Bourbon.
Yes.
Creole Spirits. Make sure you check them out. Delicious bourbon. Shout out to our DJ Andre Nicolas. DJ Andre Nicolas providing the vibes and the tunes behind the scene. And our camera guy, Andrew the camera guy. Make sure you check them out on Instagram.
Bam.
This is Bartender Talk Season 3. I'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah.